What's up, FaceTube?
Are we live?
We are live on Facebook.
And
So are
YouTube.
you on Ubook or FaceTube? Which one?
I like FaceTube.
Ubook and Facebook.
Ubook. Okay, got it.
I like FaceTube. I think
So
it's
we're gonna give viewers a few minutes to hop on here. Hello, Hannah.
What's up?
What's up?
Hannah, where are you out of?
Hi.
What state or city or whatever you're comfortable answering?
Country. What's your address?
What's your street address?
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jim.
It's off 20 minutes ago, but
All right. So today,
Aloha.
I don't know if
She's
we're
out of
live.
Florida.
Florida. Yeah.
Florida.
California. Cool.
All right. Let's
Wish
talk.
I was in Florida. Okay, so
Today we're going to cover a couple topics.
Are you good here yet?
Not yet.
Oh, come
Doug's trying
on.
to get.
So we're waiting just a minute till we get live on Facebook, but we're doing both
We have
simultaneously.
a perfectionist on the Facebook.
No, it's not showing the video.
So,
for
but
some reason.
what are we discussing today, guys?
All right. We are going to discuss how to teach your children proper gun safety and some steps that we have taken teaching other people's children. Teaching. I know Don, you have a way that you teach your son gun safety.
Yep.
And bring some special guests in. Maybe talk about some 3-gun stuff. Bunch of topics.
Basically, the whole thing is it's going to be kids and safety. I mean, there's so much going on in the world today, and everybody's against kids and guns, and you hear stories all the time. And a kid shapes his pancake into the shape of a gun in school, and gets expelled. I mean, thanks, Jimmy. Got it.
He can't hear you. That's not that.
Blocking the entire screen. He's probably watching. So, I mean, it's that kind of stuff with kid safety is what this is basically going to be about today.
All right. So
So-
one thing that I know I teach, especially when I
Are we
have.
live on Facebook yet?
I'll let you know.
So you're
One-
sitting here talking and Facebook isn't going to hear you and stuff?
That's okay. Facebook can catch up. Hi, YouTube. So something that I know, Steve, we've had an opportunity to teach some children that come into the shop. What are some techniques that you've used? Some product that you've used? Anything along those lines?
I like anytime we're teaching kids. One, I'm an advocate of taking kids to a professional because that's where bad habits start. When we're children and we learn whether it's our handwriting or how to throw a ball or swing a bat. If we don't get taught the proper techniques from the beginning, then we start developing and building on a poor foundation. And so I think it's real important that we start that off, and in your local communities, find out who your experts are and get your children in, because if you've learned from dad or grandpa or whoever, there may be the chance that person may have not the correct technique. And so often we see kids come in, or even adults teaching kids, and they're not teaching them the proper grip, proper stance. They're not teaching them the 4 safety rules. So it's real important to get with your local experts if possible, or if you know someone that
But
is
I
an
also
instructor.
think personally, if
Doug,
my
you can
dad-
just disregard that at this point.
It's all right. Keep working. It's not going to bother us at all. So I think personally, if mom and dad are safe though, or whoever you're with,
Thank you.
it's a good thing to see that they're also safe.
Oh, for sure.
Does that make sense?
For sure. No, I think it's absolutely great if mom and dad are trained and they do, and it might even be just a good choice for mom and dad to maybe go get a brush up and see and make sure that they're teaching their children proper safety as well.
So something that we've done.
Doug, I can't see past you. You can just disregard.
It's all right. We're good. So something that I've noticed that most children like to see something move or have some reaction when
Absolutely.
they're shooting. Does that make sense? Not just hitting paper targets. So something that I brought with us today, and our friends over at Champion, we have a great rep for them, brought us a couple things to show off. But this is something I know we've used here currently.
Yep. Do you have the ones in the back there?
You can take that out of the box. Actually, show it. to
Yep.
them.
Yep. These are actually great for shooting around the backyard if you live out and you can do that sort of thing. We use them as hanging, swinging targets in the range. Self-healing. Awesome targets. It sounds like a commercial, doesn't it?
I just heard
Not
a
really
knife
supposed
open
to.
behind me.
Yeah.
It's like that's the first time.
All my dreams are coming true.
So here's the deal. I know I've had my head split open by a ricochet when we were shooting steel. Alex
I've been hit directly in the chest by some ricochet off steel.
and I have personally seen 2 people take a ricochet into the neck where it ended up coming awful close and causing a major issue. So we like things that don't ricochet, but I still like things that are reactive. And so this is a great example. Champion's one company that has some really good products out, and they've got these reactive targets that you can hit.
So pretty much that one flips over. This one is just like a can, but you can shoot it, I don't even know, 1,000 times with a 22. Great targets. Children like seeing something that actually moves. So Don, what are your thoughts?
On teaching kids. Okay, here's my philosophy on teaching kids. I mean, if you can remember back to when you were a kid and you were told not to don't get a cookie out of the cookie jar. So what's the first thing you do when your parents are gone?
Get a cookie.
Get the darn cookie jar.
Actually, I
We
took
just heard
like
a story
5.
about this the other day.
And I mean, it's the same thing with guns. If you tell your kids no, guns are bad, don't touch guns, don't look at guns, the first thing they're going to do when they get a chance is try to figure out what's so big, bad, and scary about this. I started off my children, all of them, from the time they were able to talk, with don't be afraid to ask. If you ask me, yeah, let's get in the safe. We'll pull it out. I'll show you how to make sure it's safe. We'll look in the chamber, make sure there's no magazine, make sure it's clear, and let them hold them. Let them look at it. Make sure they're holding it properly. Even with toy guns that they had, I made sure that they put their fingers on the triggers and make sure they didn't point at people. Instilling basic gun safety at a young age. My son is 8 now, and he'll be watching a movie and go, Dad, look, their fingers on the trigger, they're not ready to shoot. Because he's been doing this virtually his entire life, and it's all he knows. So, I mean, education is absolutely critical. And that's where it's important for you as a parents and as adults to make sure that you are doing it the right way so you can pass that along to your kids, like Steve was saying.
I'm going to answer 2 questions that came up real quick. Number 1, somebody said, what's up with the dogs on the range? They make great reactive targets.
Seriously?
All right, so we are a gun-friendly gun
Bloody
shop. We're a dog-friendly gun shop. As long as your dog isn't aggressive or violent, you can bring your dog in. We don't care.
On a leash.
And on a leash, please. And then so that we hope that they're not going to the bathroom in the shop as well. So if they're
Like your dog.
So what was the other question?
The other question somebody said was the steel angled when you were hit, when I was hit. Yes.
Yes, it was angled, actually.
In your case, it was angled. In my case, it was on swinging chains. So I've seen, and in my case, it was at 100 yards, and it came back and split my head open
In
pretty
my
bad.
case, it was not at 100 yards.
Yeah, his
It was pretty close. Someone was actually using a bump fire stock at the time, I believe.
So it's always
And
angled
those evil
still toward the
bumpfires.
ground. I've seen it so many times. Still has the ability to ricochet in the weirdest ways, and every once in a while somebody gets caught. And so angling it is not a catch-all.
So we're going to have one more question. This was a question from someone.
How do you get
I believe-
past a wife that says no, he's too young? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Answer it. Yeah, if you're up, answer it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you just have to have that conversation with your wife. And
I can tell you that I actually experienced that myself. She was from a non-gun friendly state originally, did not grow up around guns, didn't like guns, didn't like the fact that I carried a gun every day. And it took patience. I mean, it really did. There's a lot of good information out there that you can talk to her and your child about, and try not to be an asshole about it and say, well, this is just how it's going to be. You have to educate. That's the big thing. And it took some time for me. I mean, literally, I started teaching my son about gun safety when he was about 2 years old. She thought he was way too young. And I say kids are never too young to be taught. And by teaching him stuff, she learned stuff as well. So I think that was really beneficial. And now there's no issue.
So, Steve, why don't we bring some shooters in?
Absolutely.
We have some guys here that are top league, world-class shooters. We'll let them talk a little bit about themselves.
And they're young.
They're young. Let's ask them a little bit about gun safety, how they were taught, and what they're going to be doing this weekend. So
let's here, you and I'll hop up and we'll let them in here. Come on over, guys.
Oh, thanks for moving, Don. Don't let us.
What are you talking about? I'm here to help
Don't
you.
let us
bud.
interrupt you. Come on in, guys.
You guys can have
You guys have the couch. Come up here and sit
Have
down
a
in the
seat.
front row.
Have a seat anywhere.
We'll come back here.
ladies in front.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ladies in front and the guy in front. Come on. Come here, Mike. Sit down.
All right,
I guess it's
So I introduced Mike. This is Mike. I'm sorry, I forgot your last
Mike
name.
Dell.
Mike Dell.
It's on my shirt if you could read.
Oh, yeah. There it
there.
is, Mike Dell.
Right there.
From Dell Computers.
Yes.
So, Mike, what we got going on this weekend?
What we've got going on this weekend is the first true 3-gun match indoors in an indoor range. We said a couple weeks ago on one of the live casts, a lot of ranges do 2-gun or single gun indoor. We're going to shoot all 3 guns. We're going to shoot AR-15, competition pistol, and a shotgun in the same bays. We got 3 different bays we're going to shoot. Going to have 6 total stages. Going to be a blast. No pun intended, or pun intended, either way.
This is the only indoor 3-gun in Indiana. Is that correct?
It may be the only one in the nation that we know of that's shooting all 3 guns. I've never heard of it before.
Awesome.
So yeah, we just did some testing in the back. It's going to work out great. We're going to have a ball. And by the way, we still have 9 spots left.
I was saying there's 9 spots left. So we're talking about kid safety. I'm sure you heard some of this before. We're talking about kids. You know, how do you get them started? When do you get them started?
Yep.
You know, so these guys are some of the. You want to introduce who we have here?
I will.
Some of the top shooters
yeah.
in the nation.
We do have several of the top juniors in the nation. Standing behind me is Tim Yackley. He's part of the Yackley 5, which is a family, all Yackley shooters. Tim's technically not a junior anymore because he turned 18 this year, and it did make Jake very happy because he says, I don't have to compete against you anymore in the junior division. So Tim Yackley back here. Tim is the current Blue Ridge Mountain 3-gun champion. He won the big gun, which was a televised shoot. It technically took place last year, but it was televised this year, where he beat obviously the world famous Jerry Mitchlick in the finals. They shot head-to-head, and Tim took Jerry down.
No kidding.
That's impressive.
It is very impressive.
Awesome.
Tim, we're very fortunate that Tim is in town for the holidays this weekend. So oh no, redoing. There we are. We're back.
All right,
We're back. Sorry for the hiccup.
We don't want that.
Do not disturb is on.
Can we have background music? So, but we're fortunate to have Tim here. Great shooter. And sitting in front of him is Jacob DeKosik. Jake's accolades this year, he is a junior, but he will be turning 18 in February? January? Yeah, February. So we got a couple months left to call him a kid. But he is the current Indiana multi-gun champion. He is the current Rock Hard champion. He is the current junior champion for Fort Benning multi-gun, which just took place last weekend. Current junior champion for Generation 3-gun. Basically, everything he shot this year, he's been junior champion. And a couple of the national matches, he's won high overall. So he's pretty much a stud. The 2 lovely young ladies we have in front of us. This right here is Beth Walker. Beth is a local shooter,
Say hi,
up and
Beth.
coming.
Wave. Say hi.
It's okay. You can actually be animated and everything. Breathe, Beth. So, Beth, I've had the good fortune of working with her the past about a year and a half. Super young lady, up and coming. She's going to be a great 3-gunner. She's had some good finishes, but with the length of time she's been shooting, she's really strong. So we'll look for her in the next year or so to do great things. Sitting next to her is Sydney Rockwell from Knoxville, Tennessee. Sid, if anybody goes to any national 3-gun matches at all, they know who Sydney Rockwell is. Sydney shoots a shotgun as well as anybody shoots a shotgun 3-gun. Agree with that, Tim?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. She's a stud on the shotgun.
Did she beat you?
Tim says nobody can beat me. Who's gonna beat me?
So
But-
basically what you're telling me is all 4 of these, and not a derogatory term, kids, because you're all kids, I mean, we're all in our mid-40s, would be able to stomp our butts.
Oh my God! Not even a contest. It is not even close. They do things I don't even dream about at 50 years old. So, but
So let's ask each of them a couple of questions. First question, we'll ask each of you individually. What age did you start shooting?
Competitively, I started around 14.
What
but
age did you pull the trigger first?
8.
8? First time you pulled the trigger?
9.
About 8.
8.
Probably 6 or 7. BB guns way before it.
So, and I've heard a lot from parents. A lot of times I'll hear somewhere between 6 and 9 years old is often an age where they start letting their kids get involved and start teaching them safety. I know from personal experience, sometimes when you're teaching youth safety, we get ahead of ourselves and we forget that they may not even know all the terminology, like what a trigger is or what a muzzle is. And I don't know if you can remember that far back, but that sometimes can be confusing when we're using some of the vocabulary that's not able to relay as to what, or translating into what it actually is on the firearm. Do you remember at a young age what they taught you guys and what made you kind of be less scared of firearms and how they got you involved? Anyone? We'll start with you.
I think finger discipline, making sure that your finger's off the trigger always, and knowing that the gun, even when it's not technically loaded, it's always loaded.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
And you?
I would say the same thing, just like all the basic safety rules and everything. I mean, just kind of.
Yeah.
Were
All
you
right.
guys?
Safety rules.
Quick question, and we'll just ask this again. Everybody, were you guys around guns when you were younger? When you're like 2, 3, when you were out shooting with your parents, you know, mom and dad, that kind of stuff? And were you exposed to them, or were guns, you know, prohibited in the house? You know, don't touch them, kind of thing. You remember
Does
back
anybody
that far?
remember back when you were a kid? Was there?
As far as I can remember, we were always around them. Yeah.
Well, Tim, let me give a little bit of background. Tim has is a military family.
Okay.
His father is Marines or Army? Marine, and also a Wisconsin State Trooper.
Okay.
So firearms is a part of life for them. But when I mentioned the Yackley Five earlier, Tim is the oldest of 3 brothers. When you go to some of the, let's say Blue Ridge Mountain down at Rockcastle Shooting Center in Kentucky, you will see Mark Yackley, his father. You will see Becky Yackley, his mother. You'll see Tim, Sean, and Andrew. You will see all 5 of them competing together as a family. It is absolutely awesome to watch. And they're all very competitive.
So can you beat your brothers?
Yeah.
Can you beat your dad?
Yeah.
You can beat your dad?
I get more time to practice than him.
Great. And he's humble.
Well, his mom would kill him.
Does mom shoot?
Yeah.
How many of your brothers, sisters, and or parents shoot? You have family members that shoot quite a bit?
No, not really.
And you?
I have some that shoot with me in the backyard. Not
Yep.
competitive.
Yeah. Great.
Yep. And Beth's father is law enforcement.
Oh,
So he's a local detective for a local police department, Central Indiana. But so obviously firearms have been around their house since she was little.
and what state is your dad?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay. Great. And we know what Jake's dad does. So Jake's dad installs air ventilation systems for gun ranges. So if those of you that are out there watching right now that are needing air ventilation installed, that's something that your dad does and does it well.
Yes, he does.
All right, so is there anything that you kids would like to say to any maybe youth that are watching that are thinking about getting into firearms and wanting to know the best way to go about it? Any advice from the kids here?
Take every opportunity that you can. Just be safe with it. And they're a serious thing, but they're also a ton of fun.
Exactly.
You know, here's my advice, and what I would say is once you've learned the basic rules of safety, as a child, when you're going out with an adult, we often think, well, the adult's doing everything the right way, and we make mistakes. And so I've made mistakes, Alex has made mistakes, Mike's made mistakes, we all make mistakes, and so it is up to the youth or the children that are with us to call us out on it. And don't be scared to call us out. If we've got our finger on the trigger, tell us. If we're crossing somebody's path with a muzzle, tell us. Don't be shy and don't think, well, I'm the kid, I'm just lucky to be here. Safety is paramount and it absolutely comes first. And if you're with someone that is not taking safety serious, then I would tell you get out of that situation and go with someone who is going to take safety more serious.
Yes.
But I can't tell you how many times I remember being a kid out shooting with someone, and I remember thinking to myself, well, they're not supposed to pull their gun out of the holster and play with it, or they're not supposed to put the finger on the trigger, and yet I was a kid, so I didn't think it was my place, or I wasn't allowed to say something to this person who seemed like an authority figure. So when it comes to firearm safety, everybody is the authority, and everybody has a right to step up and speak their mind and let somebody know that they're not being safe.
Yeah. And to bring home a good point of the training and being safe. Like I said, we just did a little test and kind of an R&D deal back here on one of the bays for the match on Saturday. So I've got 2 16-year-old girls, 17-year-old boy, and an 18-year-old boy with me. And never any time was there anything unsafe, because we put 4 individuals like this together, call them juniors. Trust me, they are professionals.
Good.
They ran through the match back there, never once had a safety issue. They know how to handle their guns because they were taught the proper way.
Sure.
Don't let anybody ever tell you out there that 15 or 16 you should stay away from guns. That isn't true. If you're trained properly, you heard a couple of them started shooting at 8 years old. We have shooters in 3-gun at large matches that are 10 and 11 years old, and they shoot wonderfully and they shoot very, very safe.
Excellent.
So don't let the age hinder you at all.
And once again, Mike, you run or help run the competitions for, and the name of the group is?
Indiana Multigun.
Indiana Multigun.
Yeah, we have a small tour during the summer. We're doing this match Saturday under Indiana Multigun rules. But yeah, if you have any interest in getting out and shooting, just go to the Indiana Multi-Gun Series Facebook page or Top Gun. Stop by Top Guns here and ask questions. We'll get connected.
It's a lot of fun, guys.
It's a lot of fun.
So Steve, do you want to take the last 10 minutes and we'll go ahead and answer some questions that we've had?
Absolutely.
And then say bye to these guys. Appreciate you guys stopping in.
Yeah, guys, thank you for stopping in.
If, we have
Appreciate it.
having
if
me.
anybody asks any questions, we'll definitely bring you back in to answer any.
If you have any questions, we're going to be eating pizza.
Yeah.
Over at Rolly's,
guys.
which is here in the building. So whenever you guys are here at the shop, there's a great pizza place attached.
So I know you and I sit beside each other. You don't have to scoot over on the couch, Bubba. All right, so I had someone chime in earlier and said, did you have to change your clothing when you started carrying a firearm? We're touching feet.
We are touching feet. All right.
Come on.
Man, you're a little wider than me. I can't help it. All right. Did I have to change clothes? Yes, I did change the way I altered the way I dress, and I dress with clothing that allows me to conceal properly, and so.
Well, Alex is off day. She works on Thursday. I know people are asking that question. I didn't really have to because I'm a big fat guy. I wear button-ups. If I'm not here wearing this button-up, I wear another flannel button-up when I'm at home. So I didn't really have to change much.
I think the main thing is just getting used to wearing something that's untucked and not looking like a slob.
we have anything-
And you can do that.
Questions? That was a question that came in. If we ever had to change what we dress like to carry, and I don't ever think that's being the case. Something that I wanted to bring up again is a lot of people when they shoot for the first time and they're just shooting a piece of paper, it drives them nuts. Or they're because humans, we're competitive.
Yep.
If I see you shooting something, I want to be able to shoot it faster. I want to be able to go and be better than you. All right. And so when I teach somebody, I definitely like reaction targets, something I see move, shake, anything along those lines. But also if we're doing like a silhouette or something, tighter groups, and it depends on what type of shooting we're doing also. If handguns like, a defensive type, or we're doing some sort of, bullseye shooting,
Right.
something along those lines. So I just wanted to bring that up again. If you're teaching somebody, teaching youth, I really like the idea of doing that.
So one of the things we've been using lately that I absolutely love, there's two things that we have found recently that are safe and reactive.
Sure.
One is a very inexpensive way to do it is balloons.
Oh, yeah. We do our challenge. Check out our challenges.
Yeah, if you check out our challenge, answer your question. Jennifer is off today. She'll be back next week. Actually.
We're usually on Thursdays. You guys got to remember that.
So our balloon challenge, but we like to shoot balloons because you instantly know, you can put different colors there and clusters, and you say, okay, do not shoot the red balloons and only shoot the yellow balloons. And so it makes it very easy to see and instantly gives you that feedback as to whether or not you've hit the proper targets.
Questions?
The downside of that is, of course, you have to blow up lots of balloons. We also like this type stuff. So these particular ones are put out by Champion. They've got cans and bowling pins and all kinds of little things that allow you to shoot them in the reactive. And so, argon balloons.
The ones that blow up, they're filled with argon.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Never tried it myself, but I'm sure it's fun. Well, is there anything we can check on? Any questions on there so far?
No.
Now, I feel like there's been a bunch of stuff that's
There's a
popped
bunch
up,
of questions that popped up and we missed them all.
and we don't have a clue what they are. So I apologize
If you
about
do have
that.
a question, we're probably going to wrap it up here shortly. If you've got a question, pop it up there real quick and we'll gladly answer them if we can.
We do have some videos coming out, just kind of update those guys. We do have some really good videos coming out in December. We are not going to kind of give that away yet because they're going to be fun. And we do have another Leupold video coming
Holy
out.
shit, what'd that last one say? Somebody's finger slipped in.
What's a good EDC gun with a manual safety? I was stopped one night when the officer pulled my gun from the holster. He accidentally slipped his finger in the trigger guard.
All right,
Wow.
go closer to the speakers and say the same thing.
All right, so in essence, a guy got pulled over. He wants to know what a good firearm is with a safety because he got pulled over. The officer pulled the gun out of the guy's holster and accidentally put his finger into the trigger as a result.
So what was the question? Is there a gun out there that we like with a manual safety?
Yeah. EDC
Yeah,
gun.
I mean, there's Smith & Wesson has some good guns out with safeties, and
Let me think. Something well, for instance, the FNX.
FNX,
I really like that
FN.
FNX.
Yep.
I know the 320s coming out with a safety.
Yep.
It's already out. I've seen a couple of them. I would consider carrying a 320, an FNX. You and I both already own.
Yep. And I like
So,
the 2.0 Smith.
I like the 2.0 Smith. So any of those would definitely work.
Yep. Absolutely.
Opinion on Delta and Echo 316 rifles?
I'm not a fan of Delton, but that doesn't mean that they don't make an okay product.
And I'll
It's
tell you
just not
why.
my-
It was because when they were early, getting into this type of stuff, I remember there was some quality control issues with pins or something. I can't remember what it was, but they were wobbling out, and the tolerances of their lowers, I would say no, but that was just because of that time.
Somebody just asked, oh yeah, who won the scope? So if you don't know, we are giving away a
good
Leupold
call.
scope. Yeah. We're giving away a Leupold scope. Go down 1 or 2 videos on here on our YouTube page and watch that video, and then do whatever it says.
So
to do to
we'll
get
put a
qualified
link
for it.
on this, hopefully somewhere when as soon as this gets
I don't
posted.
know that we're going to. I don't know. We know how to.
Yeah, come on.
All right, we'll try.
That's what they do. Yeah, they'll put a link on there somehow. You can look at it. I think it's 1, maybe 2 videos back. We are actually giving this away, and all you have to do is like, share, favor, subscribe that video. That's it. And
You're qualified. We'll probably give it away here. I mean, probably
Is it a new
sometime
one?
next week.
Yeah, probably next week.
Huh?
Is it a new one?
So Leupold, here's what happened. We put this Leupold.
Oh, look at that! Look how smart we are.
Oh, nice. There's your link for the video.
Hey, my man. Thanks for proving him wrong.
All right, so we decided to. Leupold gave us this optic to do a review on, and we decided we weren't just going to do a review. We were going to put it through a torture test.
Watch it, because I really actually put it through
We
some tests.
legit put it through a torture test, and honestly felt like it was not going to make it through it. We end up making it all the way through. We end up making it all the way through this thing, and it is still in perfect functioning shape. It's got a couple little nicks and dings on it, but it actually did really, really well.
I'll go through some of the stuff that we did do to it.
All right.
I mean, I slammed this thing on the ground. We threw it across the field. Obviously, I threw it farther than Steve. We submerged it in water for 20 minutes. We did a drop test from about 3 or 4 feet, and then I over-exaggerated it and dropped it again real hard. Check out that video. I'm telling you, both of us at the end of that video can give us the 2 thumbs up and actually approve that.
Is the giveaway U.S. only? Here's what I'll say. If we're sending it somewhere outside the U.S., if someone wins outside the U.S., A, you'll have to cover shipping, and B, that's assuming it's legal for us to ship it out. I don't know how that works with customs and all that stuff, so we'll have to figure that part out.
We will do when we pick the video, or excuse me, pick the winner, we will do it live.
We'll do it live,
It'll
yeah.
be some random smart person generator thing that y'all can see. That's not Steve and I just want you to know. We'll have the smart people do it.
So anyway, we end up putting this thing through the torture test. It comes out and does super, super great, beyond what we expected. And so we decided we were going to give the scope away. I called Leupold and I said, hey, here's a link to the, I sent you a link to the video. The guy watches the video from Leupold.
I honestly thought they called us. I thought they were
Yeah.
like, hey, I saw that video was posted. That thing's awesome.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But so anyway, the guy calls and says, hey, saw your video. And once they now have said they want that scope, and they will give the winner a new scope instead. So
they want the new scope to actually travel. They want to be able to take this thing around.
used one, the beat up one.
The beat up one. They want this scope for a demonstration to say, look, I'm telling you, here's the video, here's the scope. This is what these guys have done to it. So
there's a
pretty
good
excited about
chance.
that.
Now we've not received the replacement scope yet, so we're waiting on that. Assuming it gets here in a timely fashion, then whenever someone wins, we will be sending them a new one instead of a used one. Yes, live on YouTube is when we'll be we'll give it away live on YouTube.
We'll
and
give
maybe on
everybody
Facebook
a
too.
heads up. Definitely keep watching our YouTube lives. We have some big stuff coming up in December and into January. Giveaways, all that good stuff. Definitely stay tuned for it.
Absolutely.
So, Steve?
Probably the optic will give away next week sometime. So if you're wanting to get in on it, be sure and hop on there, watch the video right now, and do whatever it says to do.
Hop up there, Basil.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching. We are once again live from Terre Haute, Indiana at Top Guns.
And if you have any safety questions of children, how to teach them gun safety, anything that we have done, maybe comment on this video, and maybe we'll cover it again here in the next video. We do have a large 3-gun match coming up if you're in the area. So
Absolutely, and be sure to be safe during the holiday. Everybody have a safe, happy Thanksgiving, and spend some time with family.
Get some good deals on Black Friday too.
Yeah, Black Friday. We got lots of them here. If you're local, you'll want to stop in.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.